Look at that nice little puck. And don't you want to be able to hold it upside down and not have it come out? Should we try it?
Like a blizzard from
Should we try it?
Right? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, okay, let's... Oh, we nailed it!
Good to go. Hello, world. Today we're here with Eric Hinman. If you don't know Eric, I like to refer to him as the actual Brian Johnson, the actual reverse ager that actually looks good. He is a serial entrepreneur. I mean, in my eyes, a legendary fitness content creator. Thankful to call him a friend that I've got to know over the last year or so. Eric, thank you for coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm stoked for this coffee.
Yeah, so today what we're gonna be doing is making a iced Americano with a sweet cream cold foam. You're usually a pretty much black coffee guy, right?
Yeah, double espresso.
Yeah. So today we're doing something a little out of your comfort zone, you could say. Have you ever made cold foam?
I've never made cold foam.
Never made it before?
No.
Okay, cool. First time we're making cold foam. It's super easy. It's probably one of the most ingenious things that has ever been made for coffee. Everybody loves whipped cream, but it's got so many calories in it. But you make sweet cream and use a low calorie half and half or a coffee creamer. And it's like 30 calories for something that tastes better than whipped cream.
Amazing.
All right, let's do it. So you'll pretty much just put the portafilter in.
Yep. Push
Push it all the way till it hits this lever. It'll auto dose. Then you can take it out, distribute it, tamp it.
Yep.
And then run it through the double shot. So yeah, I kind of want to let you
Great.
run away with it.
A big dose of espresso right there.
Look at this guy. So if you don't know what he's doing right now, Eric is basically using this tool. It's distributing the grounds in there. So it's making it flat. And then he's going to take the back side of it, push it down, form a puck. That way that the pressurized water can shoot through it and pull out a nice shot of espresso. And you see the tricep flex.
That's
He's
right.
going like
That's
100
right.
pounds right now.
Yeah, good angle. Get a good angle on that. Look at that nice little puck.
This is the hardest part of making espresso right here.
Okay. Get it again in here.
Yeah.
Boom. Look at that. First try.
Got my favorite shot glass right here, the death shot. We
That
got
shot
a
glass is dope.
fat shot of espresso for Eric.
Double espresso, this one?
Double
This one?
shot, yeah.
Cool. Don't you want to count to like 30 seconds and that's approximately what a double espresso is?
Yeah, 25 to 30 seconds is a solid amount of time. So this is actually coming out pretty perfect. We're at about 23 seconds right now. I'm jealous because my shot that I pulled for my drink was kind of shitty.
I got the better one.
Eric got the better one. So now we're going to assemble this drink. You know what an Americano is, right?
Sure.
Americano
water,
is
espresso.
water espresso.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll go ice. Let's do the water first.
Cool.
Perfect. And then we're going to do a little bit of stevia here.
Yep.
Now we'll go espresso. Oh yeah. So to make cold foam, you literally pour the half and half in the cup, take a hand frother, 15 seconds with a hand frother, it's
Easy.
ready to go. It's
Easy.
so easy.
Look at how pretty that is. Dude, look how creamy that is.
Literally.
Dang.
So thick, just instantly.
That looks great.
That's what she said.
And it's bomb, right?
That tastes
It's
so
amazing.
good. Oh my
It's
God.
so good. When you pour the cream in, this is called the money shot.
Look at that.
On a difficulty level out of 10, how hard was that to make?
1.
1? All right, you heard it. 1.
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all. And delicious, right?
Yeah, delicious.
That whole drink is less than 50 calories. And it tastes, that sweet cream alone tastes like what?
I like coconut ice cream.
Yeah, cool. Well, we got our coffee. I want to chat with you. I've gotten to know you a little bit over the last year, but I want to
Cheers.
get to know you even more. Let's drink our coffee and
Heck
have a
yeah.
chat. Welcome to the Tailgate Coffee Table. Today, I'm here with Eric Hinman. Eric, thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Always good to see you.
Yeah, always good to see you. It's been, I met Eric, I don't know, about a year ago through some of the Super Coffee guys. And ever since then, we just kind of stayed in touch. I've been out to his place and just so happened that I'm driving through Denver on my way to Washington. So I was like, dude, let's make some coffee. Let's have a chat and hang out.
Hell yeah. I literally just ordered that sweet creamer from Super Coffee. It's so good on Instacart.
Dude, it's the best stuff. And calorie wise, it's super low calorie. It's delicious, number one, but the fact that it has some MCT oil, it has a gram of protein, and it's only 15 calories per serving, sick. So Eric has gone from corporate life right into becoming pretty much a serial entrepreneur, content creator, super connector. That's how I met Eric. And I kind of just want to give the mic to you and just ask you, who is Eric?
Yeah, so my life radically changed in my late 20s when I started focusing my days around health and wellness. So that initially looked like hiring a personal trainer to get back into aesthetically decent looking shape. Prior to that, I was sitting in a car driving 50,000 miles a year with my insurance business, and I was partying like a rock star Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. I had no education around healthy eating. I thought Subway was my best option when I was on the road, getting like a meatball sub. And when I hired the personal trainer, over a 6 month period, I started to lose some body fat, gain some muscle. But what I really recognized was the correlation between exercise and my energy levels, my mental clarity, my emotional well-being, the better decisions I was making, my friend group changing. It just led to this snowball effect in the right direction. And then I found triathlon. I signed up for a sprint distance triathlon in Syracuse, New York, which is where I grew up. And that ultimately led to an obsession with what am I capable of? How far can I push myself? How far can I go? How fast can I go? And that led to an Olympic distance triathlon, a half Ironman. After my first half Ironman, I didn't think I would ever do another triathlon. I was so smoked. I had to stand under a fire hose for about 30 minutes to cool off after a hot and humid race.
God.
And then like an hour later, I'm telling all my friends that I was with, I think I'm going to do an Ironman. Sure enough, I do Ironman Lake Placid. And I did Ironman Lake Placid 3 times and qualified twice for the Ironman World Championship. So literally went from, just a pretty out of shape insurance salesman to this world-class triathlete. That was from 2010 until 2014. Right now, I'm about to turn 44 in 2 weeks, and health and wellness is a huge part of my lifestyle still. Now it's more CrossFit, mountain biking, but I really enjoy, running still, hiking, and just, we're in Colorado. It begs you to be outside all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, it's funny, mountain biking, right? So when you were out in Austin, I was like, yeah, let's go for a rip, dude. And I'm like, all right, cool, we're gonna go. It's like 17 miles. It's not a crazy thing. We get out, we get on the bikes, and within like 10 seconds, Eric's like at the end of the trail. And I'm like at the beginning of the trail, I'm like, fuck. And then I just get back. So I finally get back to the car, and he's just sitting there. He has like 4 videos edited, has them already posted on his Instagram, and I'm like, damn, dude. So it's very impressive, like the athlete that you are. Were you an athlete before you started your career, like your corporate career, when you're in high school, college? Did you do athletics?
I did. I was the most athletic in my small high school. I graduated with like 90 kids. I grew up in a really small town. I played basketball. I played baseball, Little League, Senior League. I ran cross country. I ran track, and I played 1 year of football. So I loved team sports growing up. I got into weightlifting, but basically just push-ups and bench press my senior year of high school. And then in college, I played 1 year of basketball, sat the bench. I think I played a total of about 3 minutes the entire season, but got into weightlifting in college. I met a friend, his name is Ian, who, really taught me about functional training and, different splits. So I got really into weightlifting in college. And then out of college, I was still working out a couple times a week, but, 30-minute sessions, very vanity based. And, again, I was partying really hard. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't getting good sleep, and, stressed out all the time from managing this insurance agency that I owned. It really wasn't until my late 20s that I started to live my life the way I live it now.
Dude, all right, I want you guys to hear that. Late 20s. And that's something that I've come across lately is being out in Austin. It's a very social place, right? You meet a lot of people who are very ambitious, going after big goals, have big dreams, and it's a very young city. I would say between the ages of 21 and 40. And I meet a lot of younger people, and I say younger, like 21 to 25, who feel behind because of what they see on social media, because of people they meet that may not be the best people or the nicest people, and they have time. Even myself, I didn't start taking care of myself until 28-ish, 29. And I think people don't realize you can still get in the best shape of your life. You can still accomplish all the goals that you want to do, and you don't have to do it before you're 25. When I've been having these conversations, what I've been trying to do is find a way to tactfully tell them it's okay that you're not there yet. But that can be almost demeaning, right? Like telling someone it's okay, like you're young, you got time. So instead of saying you're young, you've got time, what would be a better way to get the message across to somebody that you may not hit your peak, or you may not hit your prime until your late 20s or your 30s, and that's okay? And how can you help someone understand just to have like aggressive patience, or how can you help someone learn not to compare themselves to all this noise we hear out in the media?
Yeah. I mean, I think your 20s are this exploratory phase of, figuring out who you are, what allows you to thrive, what environments you enjoy being in, who you want to be around. So you need to figure that out, during that time period, and you're going to make some bad decisions and you're going to find things you don't like. And, in my 30s, I feel like I started to figure out more who I was. And in my 40s now, I'm, figuring it out even more. But yeah, I mean, even someone in their 50s, 60s, like none of us really have it figured out. We're always learning, we're always evolving. And, a lot of things that we may enjoy now, 10 years from now, may no longer serve us. So it's really just being mindful. And what I did in my early 30s was I made these lists. I had a list of all of the environments, the people, the activities, where my mind was wandering. I wasn't in the moment. I didn't feel like I was giving value or getting value. I didn't feel like I was thriving. I didn't feel like I was in alignment. And then I made another list of all of the conversations I was having with people where I was just completely in the moment, all of the environments where I just felt like I don't want to be anywhere else, all of the activities where I just felt like I was in flow state. And I started to design more and more of my day around these activities where I was in alignment, where I felt like I was in flow, where I felt like I was getting tremendous value and giving tremendous value. And I started to cut out all of these energy draining activities. So I think that's the most important thing you can do when you're young, is just be mindful, figure out, hey, this is why today was a perfect day. This is who I was with, the conversations I was having, the things I was doing, the environment that I was in, and then write out the same thing for all of these things where you just don't really feel like you're in alignment. And, again, you're wishing you were doing something else or with someone else or were somewhere else.
Damn, I love that. Being mindful it's a hard thing to do though, right?
Yeah.
It takes some serious practice and some work to
For sure.
really apply that every day.
Yeah, because we're inundated with options and stimuli and phones and notifications. So, yeah, that's why I like being in Colorado. I have a great mix of, I'm close enough to a city where I have all of those fun options, but it's easy to be in nature and just put one song on repeat and play in the mountains and just kind of reflect on life.
Is there anything else that you do or have done that has helped you be more mindful or present?
I think of life as chapters, and I realize that all of us are going to write many chapters in life. And I try to write one chapter at a time, just like you would do in writing a book. So, I recognize that, hey, if I want to be world class at something, if I want to be world class at Ironman, like I'm probably going to have to dedicate 3 to 5 years to that. And I'm going to have to say no to a lot of other things during that time period. But that's only 3 to 5 years. I'm going to have another 3 to 5 year period if I want to focus on building a business, pickleball, whatever, a family, whatever it is. So I think it's important not to do too many things at once and to recognize that, if you can focus on one thing at a time, that's generally people you see and deem to be successful. That's why they were successful. It was compounding consistencies. They focused on one thing at a time. They really designed their life around that passion or that goal. And that's how they became successful in it.
Are you a big fan of setting goals?
I'm more intentional with my days than I am intentional with setting far-reaching goals. So I am very intentional with how I structure my day in a way that I know it will both yield to a perfect day at the end of the day and it'll attract opportunities into my life. So, that took years to figure out that structure that works really well for me. And obviously a lot of it is based around wellness activities. Like I like getting a morning workout in every single day. I like having my evening as kind of the wind down routine. And then, I'm scheduling anything important after workouts where I know I'm going to have a lot of good energy and mental clarity. So I've been living my life long enough in this way now that I know it works for me and it brings opportunities to me. So I don't really ever feel like I'm chasing opportunities anymore. I just know that I'm around people that I'm learning from. I'm able to give back. I'm able to build community, and I'm able to attract opportunities into my life by designing my days in the ways that I do.
Interesting. So instead of like a goal, right? I'm sure you have like a goal in mind, but instead of like sitting there thinking about that goal, maybe less reverse engineering, more so living day to day and knowing that each of those days, as long as you have the perfect day, they're going to take you to that end goal, right?
100%. Yeah, because oftentimes our goals change. I might say I want something in 5 years, but a year from now, like that could drastically change. So yeah, I like living more day by day and being intentional with each of those days, though, knowing that over time they're going to compound. So for example, like I would like to make it to the CrossFit Games in my age group. When I make it there, I don't know. There's a lot of other variables. I could get injured mountain biking, which happened last year. The workouts may not be in my favor, but I know that I'm stacking compounding consistencies by hitting my CrossFit workouts 5 days per week, and I'm training with intention that eventually I will get there. And honestly, Ironman was the same. Like there's a lot of variables with Ironman. I could get injured training. I might be sick for the race. I might not have a good day, race day, but I'm stacking little wins every single day that are getting me closer to whatever it is that I eventually want to achieve in something. And it's the same with my business right now. I don't have this goal of I want to make this amount of money or I want to, have these investments and they return this. It's just every single day I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I'm putting myself out there on social media, I'm adding value, and over time that's going to stack up and that's going to amount to success in business.
Damn, dude. I feel like you're dropping some serious bombs and kind of some hot takes, unfortunately. But I think that the way that you're talking about living your life is probably the most satisfying and fulfilling way you can do it. And it's just not being caught up in what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And literally just being yourself and focusing on what you have in front of you. And that's going to take you where you're supposed to go. But that kind of takes some surrendering in a sense and acceptance. And again, it's just accepting like where you're at and being peaceful with the present moment is a pretty tricky thing to do. Do you spend much time on social media, or do you treat it pretty much as an outlet for your work, for building your personal brand? Or do you spend any time at all consuming? Like, I think that it's okay to consume content. It's okay to do that because you'll learn things. It even helps to entertain you at many times. But I'm just curious what your creation versus consumption ratio might look like on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time on social media, but a lot of it is creating. A lot of it is documenting my days and then, creating concepts around just documenting each and every day. I like consuming through this much more, like meeting people in the real world, having people over to our house every single night to do contrast therapy. I like consuming through conversations in person with others. I mean, do I consume content on Instagram and TikTok? Of course I do. YouTube, I watch YouTube for 30 or 40 minutes every single night. And, I tailor it to what I'm interested in. I tailor it to things that inspire me. I'm not just, endlessly scrolling on TikTok to waste time. And, I think a lot of that goes back to time blocking. Like my days are pretty busy with the things I want to do. Like I have my workouts scheduled in. I have calls scheduled in. I have various podcasts with others scheduled in. I have my contrast therapy time, my time with my girlfriend and dog. So, my days are pretty filled. And I mean, I feel my worst if I'm sitting on a plane with nothing to do and I'm just doom scrolling. That's when I feel my worst. So I recognize that. And that's, why probably to a fault, I fill my days with things that I consider to be productive activities. But yeah, I mean, it is important to get inspired, but there's lots of other ways to get inspired. And I think you and I have both put ourselves out there, over a 10-year period that we can attract amazing people into our lives and we can have in-person conversations with them. Like this is inspiring me right now that you're doing this. And I'm like, Sterling, man, maybe we should do like a sauna podcast at the house. This is really cool. And, I wouldn't have been exposed to this if I hadn't put myself out there on social media. I hadn't met you and you hadn't asked me to come on this podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Hey friends, if you're like me, always on the move, whether it's lifting, playing pickleball, hiking, snowboarding, or even just walking the dog, then hydration is key. But it's not just about drinking water, it's about balance, and that's where LMNT comes in. LMNT is an electrolyte drink mix that keeps me feeling my best no matter what I'm doing, with a science-backed ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium without any sugar or junk. I take it everywhere, on the court, on the trails, and especially in the car for long drives. And right now, LMNT is offering a free sample pack with your first purchase. Just go to drinklmnt.com/themacrobarista. Stay fueled, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you on the next adventure. It's very inspiring that you have this ability to bring so many people together and make everybody feel so welcome in your home, in your sauna sessions, in your cold plunge, in your workouts. And it's definitely something that I look up to and I think is very inspiring and motivating and cool. And that's kind of why I started doing this. Consuming in real life is such a better way to consume and get inspired and get ideas. And I've been on social media, so like you said, for the almost 8 years, so the better half of 10 years. And I've met a lot of cool people online. And that's why I decided to do this, is because it's going to allow me to meet these cool people that I've met online and finally connect in person and get to know them and have a more genuine, authentic conversation. And the tailgate coffee table, right? So it seems like anytime I have coffee with someone, whether it's the caffeine flowing, it always creates like a really great conversation. And then another place that is a great conversation is like standing at the bed of my truck, or like for whatever reason, say you go to dinner with a group of friends, you end up standing with like you guys, everyone's walking to their cars, and then you end up standing at your car talking for like 30, 45 minutes on this like deep level, crazy conversation you didn't expect to have. And so that's kind of the environment that I wanted to cultivate with the tailgate coffee table, was these two areas, having coffee and standing outside your truck. That's my why about this show. And it's less of like a podcast for me. I'm having these conversations with people and I'm getting super inspired. When you're giving energy out and you're getting the same energy back, there's not a better feeling that you can feel, in my opinion. The people that I want to talk to, it's very selective for me. I don't just want to have every random person on. It's like I'm doing a show that is going to be broken into seasons. So, we'll have 13 episodes in this first season. And I don't just have this massive list of random people just to fill episodes. I'm talking to people that I genuinely think the world, like hopefully the world will get to know and get to see a different side of that they may not see through your other social media channels. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you being on and having another outlet to share it with the world. So I know you have a girlfriend, you have a dog. You guys have been together for like almost 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you guys maintain your happiness with each other? How do you guys keep the boundaries and just maintain a successful, loving relationship? Because when I see you guys together, it's definitely something that I think looks like something I admire to replicate in my relationship. So I want to get to know how you approach your romantic relationship.
Yeah. So we both value very similar things. We value spending time with close friends. We both enjoy hosting. Thank God Sarah allows me to have, most nights 5 to 10 sweaty dudes over in the sauna. But we also complement each other really well. I'm go, 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 very type A. Sarah's more grounded. She can slow me down. Sarah is super supportive. I wrote out this list years ago of my perfect companion, and she literally checks off all of these different things that I wanted in my perfect companion. And one of the big ones was, I really like someone. I wanted someone who was going to be really supportive of, my free lifestyle, of, understanding that wellness is so important to me, that my morning workout is more than a morning workout. It's like setting me up for success in every other aspect of my life. And she just understands me really well and supports me in all of my passions, as I do for her as well. She's a chiropractor, and she recently took a position heading events for Ice Barrel, and she is just thriving in that role. So, here's someone who went to school for 8 years to be this, and she still loves chiropractic. She still sees patients here and there, but she loves like the organization and putting a bunch of pieces together to, make this grand spectacle. So she has the CrossFit Games coming up here in 2 weeks. And, that's been 6 months of work for her, of putting all the pieces together so they can have this amazing setup at the CrossFit Games. So we're both in the health and wellness space. We both have similar passions for health and wellness, family, friends, travel, and but she isn't looking to go mountain biking with me. She isn't looking to hit hard CrossFit workouts with me. She recognizes that some of these things I do So like I'm doing them for me because I need that like win. I need to get my hard workout in. I need to be out in nature every single day, playing in the mountains. And like she allows that and she doesn't, deem that just to be, oh, he's off playing in the mountains again.
That's super cool that you guys maintain your individualism while still coming together at the end of the day to be a team and a partnership. And it's so important to do that, to have a successful, hopefully long-term, lifelong relationship if that's the goal. And it's a very hard thing to do, to learn how to set boundaries for yourself, to maintain your individualism, but also make sure your partner still feels loved, right?
For sure.
Because it can feel like, I'm a hyper independent person myself, just growing up as the oldest child, leaving home at 17, joining the military and being off on my own since I was 17. It's just created a extremely independent lifestyle for me. And so something that I've had to learn is keeping that side of me, protecting that individualism, but knowing that it's okay to let a guard down and still show up for the relationship that way, that I can still make my partner feel loved. Mm-hmm. How have you navigated learning how to do that?
I think it's recognizing when I'm doing something for myself and when I'm doing something for her or others. So I'll use the workout example. Going on a hike, sometimes I want to go on a hike because I want to get my zone 2 aerobic cardio in. And, if I bring Sarah along for that, that's going to be at a pace that she doesn't enjoy. And then I'm going to be slowing down to a pace that I don't enjoy. And then neither of us enjoy it. So I look at things as, am I doing this for me or am I doing this for, her or others? So, let's take that hike, for example. If it was a hike that I wanted to take her on, then all of a sudden it's for her. It's not for me anymore. Like, let's just go take in the scenery and we're doing this at your pace. I want you to have a great time. And by you having a great time, I'm going to have a great time with it. So, that was an important recognition I needed to make of when am I doing things for myself? When am I doing things for others? Separating them and making sure I'm intentional with who I'm doing it for. So neither party is compromised in, whatever that activity is.
As long as you're with the right person, doing that and giving them that time and that space to be with you on something that you enjoy doing, but at their own capability, is still extremely fulfilling, because you know that you're like sharing a part of your life that's special to you with them, and they're getting to experience it. So, they're so thankful to experience it, and they know that you're being graceful with how you're delivering that part to them too.
100%. Yeah. I've always gotten just as much of a dopamine hit from providing others with an amazing time and experience as myself having an amazing time and experience. And I think this goes back to being an only child and hosting friends at my parents' house to play basketball in my backyard and play ping pong. And then it was, big parties in college and just after college. And, now a lot of that is sauna, contrast therapy every single night, workouts, hikes, adventures, training camps. Yeah, I get such a high from seeing someone else experience something that I enjoy so much, knowing that they're going to enjoy it a ton too.
To me, it's so important to be social and have those connections that are meaningful, because it makes a much more fulfilling life, a much more fulfilling day and experience and memories. While doing things solo is awesome and very fulfilling, I think that at the end of the day, like, doing things with people that you care about and love and building those memories is just as important. I want to kind of transition a little bit here as we come towards the end of our conversation today to an interesting question, and feel free to answer it however you'd like. It's just something I'm curious about. When I see your day-to-day habits, you're like a machine, dude. Where does that motivation come from? Is it intrinsic? Is there some sort of higher power that you believe in and look to? Because the shit you do is not easy. It's taxing, and I don't think it's easy for you either. I think that you put in a lot of fucking hard work, and doing those mountain bike rides and those CrossFit workouts, I think that they're just as taxing for you as they would be for somebody that is new to the sport. And so, is it all intrinsic motivation, or is there like extrinsic motivation as well?
Yeah. It's changed over time. I mean, initially, the motivation to get back into shape was for aesthetics and ego. I wanted to look a certain way. So I felt successful. I felt like, um, I was fulfilling my optimal self. And now I would argue that it's not motivation anymore. It's just habit. It's, I don't really have any motivation around the things I do anymore. It's just rinse and repeat day in and day out. And I enjoy doing hard things because I think what drives me the most is progress. Progress makes me happy. If I feel like I'm progressing in all aspects of life, whether it's, physical fitness, emotional well-being, happiness, entertaining, building businesses, cultivating friendships, introducing people to people, like all of these things, progress makes me happy. So I think that is the driving force now, is just the progress I get from my habits.
Okay, interesting. And I think it's so true and important what you said too, that you've been doing this stuff long enough that it probably feels weird if you don't. It's become so ingrained in the DNA of hardwired into your DNA of who you are, that not doing these things probably just doesn't feel good for you.
It doesn't, and I avoid scenarios where I won't be able to do the things I enjoy. You're not going to see me going on some isolated beach vacation and just laying on the beach all day. I just don't enjoy that. I don't, and maybe to a fault, but I don't have that sense of progress from it. So, where I travel to oftentimes is dictated by, do I have community there? Do I have the things I enjoy there? Am I going to be able to live, a similar day to how I live in Colorado, in Austin, New York, Miami, wherever it is I may be traveling. And I generally am traveling to those places based on recognizing that I'm going to have my exact same day there as I would in Colorado.
I think that it's crazy because you talk about progress, like you enjoy doing the things that are going to take you forward, but you're not worried about it in a sense because you know that that's your perfect day and that's the day you're going to have. So just living your life the way that you want to live it, you know that that's going to progress you forward. And I think that that's a very cool way to look at things and a very unstressful way to view reaching your goals and becoming the best version of yourself, is to just live the life you want to live that you know is in line with who you are, and that's going to take you exactly where you're supposed to go. And I think that you're a total testament to that, just based off of, the way you look, the way that you act and carry yourself, the relationships that you have. And I think that it's just such an inspiring and motivating thing to look at and to be around and in the presence of. And so my final thing for you, Eric, is, it's a question that we get when we're kids. We get it in high school, middle school, is who do we want to be when we grow up? And so I don't think we ever stop growing up. I think that all the way till the day that we die, we're going to be learning and growing. And so you at the age you're at now, as a fully grown man, I just want to ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate that I'm living who I want to be. I feel like I have authentically become who I was supposed to be through exploration. I wasn't always that by any means. And, that authentic person that I am sitting here today doing the things I'm doing now, in 10 years, that may be a little different. But I just think it comes back to being mindful. Am I thriving? Do I feel like I'm in alignment? Am I in the moment in the things I'm doing each day? Am I with the people where I feel like I'm getting value and giving value and having amazing conversations? Am I doing activities where I'm in flow state? I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. And I feel like when you get to that place, that's who you're supposed to be. And again, I think it's great to have inspiration. We have social media. We have all of these other people that we can look to and be like, wow, I'd love their life. But until you're living it, you don't really know if that person's life is what you want. Like only you and your soul know if you're living in alignment, and you feel like every day is filled with passions and purpose. And yeah, I'm at a place right now where that is true for me. I'm waking up each morning and I was stoked to do this with you, and I'm stoked to hit my workout after this, and I'm stoked for the food I'm going to eat, and I'm stoked for the people coming over to sauna tonight, and I'm stoked for my mountain bike ride. And yeah, life is designed in a way where I feel like I've actualized, my who I am and what I want to do each day.
Hell yeah. I love that. And I think probably the biggest takeaway for me today from this conversation, I was really excited because I've talked to you in a social setting, but I never really had a one-on-one in-depth conversation with you. And so it feels really good. And I was really, really looking forward to that. And I feel like I've gotten to know you on a bit deeper level. And one of the biggest takeaways that I'm having from this conversation is being mindful can take you places that you could never imagine you would be and lead you to exactly who you're supposed to be. And so, man, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing everything you did today. I really appreciated everything you did. And everybody watching and listening, I hope that you took away some really great things from Eric. I hope you listened with an open mind and open ears to hear what he had to say. If you're looking to find him in other areas, I'll put all of his social links in my description of this video. And again, man, thank you for coming to the Tailgate Coffee Table. Like I said, this is an environment where I want to have conversations that are deeper than I usually have and get to know people way better than I usually have. And I feel more connected to you and more present with you getting to do this. So thank you again, man. And maybe in the future we can run it back.
Heck yeah, I'd love to do that. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the delicious coffee. And I love that you're doing this and putting this out to the world.
Thanks, man. All right, guys. See ya.